What's going on, Card Pack? I am back. I've been gone a few days. I had some family in town who I haven't seen in years, and I really wanted to be present with them, and we had a great time. But I'm happy to be back here with you, diving into the sports card market. Today, we're going to be looking at the top 10 football cards that sold the most over the last week. So the hottest selling football cards. The individual cards that had the most sales. It's always important to look at that because it helps you gauge demand. It's a very important factor anyways in gauging demand. And as much as people think that they supply and demand, supply is much easier to tell than demand. Demand has multiple factors to it. Anyways, interesting takeaways here today on this top 10 list. We'll dive into that in a second. Few reminders, if you want the audios from these videos, check out the podcast. That link is in the description. And if you want my top sports card pick of the day and to join one of the best discords in all of sports card investing, join the Sports Card Society, sportscardsociety.com, link in description. It's only $12.99 a month or $129 a year. You get 2 months free if you do the year. It equates to like 40 cents a day, so it's like nothing. How it works, you log into the members area. There's a new video put up almost every day. And the video's short. It's only about 5 minutes. Show the cards, show the data, research, and reasoning as to why I like it and what I plan on doing with it. Am I selling a month? Am I selling a year? Am I selling at the beginning of the season? What am I doing anyways? A couple previous examples. This Kyler Murray here. We're getting it for under 200 back in April, actually. And here in March, really. Here it is going for, over 300 in April. Here's his Baker going for under 200 or under 300 in March. Here it is going for 510 in June. So this one alone pays for more than your whole year's subscription, not to mention all the other cards through the year. So, and right now I feel like it's a really, really, really good buyer's market because the fear is really high. And when the fear is high, be greedy. It's what Warren Buffett says. I think he's a pretty smart guy. Let's dive into the content, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on the Market Movers tool. We went to sales volume by card, and we sorted it in football in the grade PSA 10. You got to look at the PSA 10 because the entire market is based off of what the PSA 10 goes for. So I'm going to go through the 10 through 6, and then we'll dive deeper into 5 through 1. Number 10 on the list, Justin Herbert, 2020 Donruss base. Popcorn, I'm only 413 on that one. I do expect that to rise. I'm sure a number of those are in PSA waiting to get delivered back to people. Popcorn, if you don't know, means this card in this gray. That's how many of them currently exist. Up just about 1% with 10 sales on the week. So that card stayed pretty flat. I actually think this is still a pretty solid buy. If the average card is going for 240, I could see that card going for 4, maybe even 500 when the season starts. I'm not scared at all because as we get closer to the season, things are really starting to heat up in the NFL. As we get closer, people aren't going to be able to contain themselves. They're going to buy football cards. Basketball is going to be over. Football is going to be the game in town. Yes, baseball is going on. It sure would be like mid-season, like whatever. Football will be the hotness. Josh Allen, number 9 on the list, is 2018 Prism base, pop count of 1,021, up a little over 2% on the week with 11 sales. It's decently solid. That's about a 1% sales volume, although the Justin Herbert here sitting around about a 2.5% sales volume. What I mean by that is 10 divided by 413 is about 2.5%. So about 2.5% of all the cards in existence sold last week. That's really good. I like to see 1+ is a solid indicator for demand. Number 8 on the list, Derek Carr. Bring in the Carr. 2014 Topps Chrome base. Pop count of 1778. Up about 15.5% on the week with 11 sales. So that's sub 1% sales volume, but he had a little increase here. Fairly cheap card. Going from maybe about $67 right now. Interesting. I like this Herbert here. I kind of want to pull it up real quick. Let's look at the chart real quick. By the way, I really want to get to 5,000 subscribers. Please help me do that. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell while you're at it. And just because you're awesome and you value the content, hit that like button. All those things really support the channel. Thank you. So this card, start the week 238, end of the week at 169. That seems like too low of a dip to me because the sale right before it's 277. So this one seems like a chili dipper to me. That's what I call them, where it's just kind of too much of an outlier. Doesn't make sense. So I like this card, though. If I pull it back, say, 180 days, let's do that. By the way, I'm in the Market Movers tool. This is what I use to basically do sports card investing. What's important to realize is having a data tool, you have to have it because most sports card investors have a data tool. And if you don't have one, you're in a horse and buggy when everyone else is in a car. you can't compete. You need a data tool to even compete in this market. I prefer the Market Movers tool. I'll put a link for it in the description. Use code SOCIETY for 20% off your first month or your first year, whichever subscription you choose. But regardless of, you need a data tool, whether you get Market Movers or whatever. Like I said, Market Movers is my favorite. I think it's the best. But you need one, okay? This card's interesting. It's been, kind of down and up. Here's the height, got to 450 plus in March and then, kind of started coming down. And now it's sitting around maybe 270. I dig it, man. I mean, I think that card, look where it's been. It was in March. So why won't this card get back to there by the time the season starts? I feel like that's pretty solid. So go to eBay real quick. Let's see what we got some listed at the bin prices. $259. I dig it. I'll put a link in the description for this in case you want to check it out. I think I'm a buy on this card. Look, it's been to 465, plenty of sales north of 400. I see no reason why it won't get to that or higher by the time the season starts. This stuff's really going to ramp up as we get closer to the NFL season. It's just typically what happens. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. These are my opinions. Do your own research before you make decisions. I'm just sharing my opinions with you. So this Herbert, I'm a buy. This Allen, honestly, I'm probably a buy. This Derek Carr, I'm not a buy. It's just not that exciting to me. I think Josh Allen's going to be super hotness when the season starts. So what was that? 10, 9, 8. Number 7 on the list, Drew Lock, 2019 Prism Base. Pop count of 2691. 12 sales on the week, up about 7%, going for about 61. I'm not a buy on this either. I'd just rather spend my money on someone else. Drew Lock, Derek Carr, they're just not that exciting of players. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, they are. And they're just going to pull more emotion and hype out of people, and they're just going to spend more money. Patrick Mahomes, or 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6 on the list, Patrick Mahomes, 2017 Optic Base, pop count of 3,017, down about 7.7% with 13 sales on the week. Mahomes, it's Mahomes. If anyone's going to get love going into the season, it's going to be him, right? So I already know where this card has been. And plus, it's Mahomes. It's one of the, in my opinion, one of the safer things in sports cards, period. Patrick Mahomes, right? So I'll include a link to this one too, because I'm a buy on that. So here we go. Number 5 on the list. 2018 Donruss Base, pop count of 2,080 is Mr. Baker Mayfield. Up, about 28% on the week, 14 sales on the week. So not quite a 1% sales volume, but he had some popping offness. Let's pull up the chart. Baby. Let me get some coffee here quick. We went to, when my family was here, we went whale watching. As I live in Seattle, so there's killer whales around here. And we went whale watching, and it was excellent. Because sometimes we've not seen any before. That really sucks when that happens. But we happened to see two. Well, I think it was the same pod, but we saw them twice, and it's just so amazing to see those things in the wild. It's just never gets old. Never gets old. I'd like to see other whales too. We have humpbacks around here, but I've just never seen them. Anyways, 112 to start the week with this card. Then here it is at 140. 133, a bit of a chili dipper there at 87. Can't count that one. 144. So I think the real value of this card is somewhere between 135 and 145. This is a card I recommended to the Sports Card Society. This is a card that I've bought. And it got all the way up to about 180 some. Maybe even higher, actually. I'm not going to count that one. That's too high. But like I said, 180 some. 212. Oh, man, maybe it did get above 200. I didn't sell any of them. I'm still holding all my Baker Donruss. Because I just think it's going to get higher when the season starts. I think what happened here is because of the basketball market, the sports card market's been spooked, and it even caused football to go down. So to me, this is just a buying opportunity, and I like it. I like it. The certain players, I like it a lot. So this Baker here, I feel like it's just another time around to buy it before it gets back to north of 200. I see no reason why this card isn't north of 200, maybe 250 plus. By the time the season comes around. Again, my opinion. Let me pull up the chart. The things that I'm buying the most right now are the things that have the most, what I feel, inherent value and are the most on sale. So to me, that's football and vintage/legend. That's what makes sense to me right now, because those things, football is just going to have a whole lot of heat coming up July, August. There's going to be a whole lot of heat rolling into it. And then vintage legend, there's just always demand for that now and forever, because that stuff is legend. You buy a Babe Ruth, a Mickey Mantle, a Michael Jordan, Joe Montana. It's just like, yeah, people are always going to want that. The market's going to go up and down, but over time that's just going to go up because the demand's always going to be there, and they're scarce. I like these more as buy and flip, these current football players. 150, I was going to say, it's hard to find Baker for under 150. You probably might want to get involved in an auction, but I like 150. I wouldn't pay more than that. I'll include a link in the description of that because I'm a buy on that card too. I see it being 225, 250 plus by the time the season starts. Number 4 on the list, Mr. Barry Sanders. 1989 tops traded. Pop count of 4588, down 5%, 14 sales on the week. So not a whole lot of sales volume for him, relatively speaking. Let's pull up his chart, though. Let me get some coffee while it loads. If you're still watching, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. I super appreciate it. It really helps support the channel. Barry Sanders, he's only got like 3 rookie cards, only like 2 of them in his pro jersey. This is one of them. I prefer the ones in the pro jersey for sure. 237 to start the week, ends the week at about 211. Let's pull it back 180 days. See what journey it's been on. So check this out. 180 days ago, this card was going for about somewhere between 130 and 160. And now here we are around 200. And it's been holding around 200 for quite a while. It got all the way up to 470, 450 plus. So that's pretty solid. I expect these to go up to either before or after the football season starts, and it's Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders usually has a card on this top 10 list every week. Like he's probably the one guy that's on here the most. And that means something. Like when you look at these charts enough, you start to notice what the market is doing. And he's on the top 10 list, one of his cards basically every week. And more than any other vintage legend football player. It's kind of crazy. So I just feel like that's probably a good thing to buy. If you can get it for around $200, 215 maybe. We'll see. Let's go to this. Let's go to the bin price. Bin means buy it now. Bin. 265, yeah. Nah, stay away from that. I'd like to get it for more like 225 and under, I think is where I'd probably like to be at. 265, just a little high for me. With that being said, it's probably still a good deal because I think no reason it's not going to get to 400 plus within the next several months. So, but I'm going to leave it off the buy right now. I'd be a buy, but I'd definitely be a hold. No selling for me. Kyler Murray. I believe this is number, was it 5-4? Number 3 on the list, Kyler Murray, 2019 Don Russ. Pop count of 3106, down 5%, 16 sales on the week. Going for about $145, it looks like the ending average. Let's pull up the chart. It's another card I recommend to the Sports Card Society. This one got to, I believe, 200 plus. And then same thing, all the markets have kind of went down, which to me is just a buying opportunity. 156 to start the week, 145 to end the week. Had a high sale of about 160. Let's pull it back 180 days. Now, 180 days ago, on the dot, this card was going for 125, had a dip down to 96, which was wonderful. 122, 105. This is where I was really snagging them up at, me and the society. Well, I bought some here. I don't think I recommended it until about, where was it? I think we were getting it for around like 125. And then it just goes up. And it's up here for quite a while, around this 180. I know it got to around 200. And then it kind of slid down some. So it's sitting probably around 140 to 160 right now, which I think is a good buy because I see no reason why this card isn't 225 plus by the time the season starts. Kyler Murray last year, I'd like to say broke out. He did, but he had an excellent rookie season. And he just had a nice step up into his sophomore year. And I expect this year to be even better. Not to mention, you got to think fantasy football. Like Kyler Murray's like a top 2 or 3 quarterback being drafted. So people expect big things on Mr. Kyler Murray this year. I like the 150 price or best offer. I'd probably make an offer on it, try to get it even cheaper. But I expect this to be a 225, 250 plus card. So I'm a buy on this. I like this little dip that we've had. And number 2 on the list, Lamar Jackson, 2018 Donruss, number 317, his base. Pop count of 3,084, down about 3.5%, 16 sales on the week. Oh, by the way, I've been meaning to ask, because I've been getting a lot of comments about this. A lot of people like talking about crypto and stuff like that, and I actually do a lot of crypto. Like me personally, like the main things by far I invest in are sports cards and then crypto. So I was wondering, leave a comment. Would you like me to talk some about crypto too? Because I could definitely do that. I mean, every day I study the sports card market and the crypto market. And I've been doing that for quite a while. I don't have a crypto channel, but I was thinking I'm getting so many questions about people talking about crypto that I'm like, maybe I could add some value to you guys talking about some crypto here and there too. Leave a comment. Let me know. Let's pull up Lamar's chart. See here. 162 to start the week, ends the week at 158. So looks like it's about 160, 165. If we pull it back 180 days. But $100, a little over $100, 180 days ago, worked its way all the way up to, around $200, and then it's had a dip, and now it's actually come up, right? Because it was down here, which is ridiculous. 1/5, that's ridiculous. So it's hard for me to even count that. But now he's really started coming back up. So we go 30 days. Let's take a look at this. All right, so he had that dip down here, and now he's been kind of building back up. Like, that's pretty legit. I think this is just too low. That's a silly sale. I think that his real value here was probably about 140, and now we're working up to about 170-ish. I'd be a buy. I just think I'd rather buy the Kyler or the Baker first because I think that they have a little more room than where he's already at. So I'd be a buy, but I'd rather buy Baker or Kyler first because of where their prices are currently at. I think there's just a little bit more profit to be made. All right, number 1 on the list, Mr. Daniel Jones, 2019 Prism base, pop count of 2,096, down 13%, 25 sales on the week, ending at about 159 for his Prism. So the sales volume is pretty significant, right? Because that's solidly over 1%. I think people are anticipating good things with him. They got Kenny Galladay, he's got Saquon Barkley coming back. Darius Slayton, I think, is a pretty good receiver. He's got Sterling Shepard. And I think they drafted a receiver too, didn't they? Maybe I'm wrong on that. Hard to remember. 180 to start the week. 205 was the high. 156 to end the week. Daniel Jones here. Not the best. Like his turnover rate is kind of absurd. Not even kind of absurd. It was absurd last year. It was absolutely absurd. But again, Kenny Galladay, Saquon Barkley coming into the mix this year, that's got to help him. Plus, he's another year developed. Let's pull him back 180 days. See, he's kind of gone up and stayed up the most, this card, of the ones we've looked at. It's hard not to say I'd be a buy on this because it's a Prism. And I don't think he's the best quarterback in the world, but he's going to get a good chance. He's got some good people around him. I think there's some solid hype that's going to go into him. So I wouldn't want to pay more than $200 on this card. So I'll put it in the description with the other one for eBay links to cards that I feel are buys are worth taking a look at. So this one, I'd be a buy on it. But my favorite is probably the Kyler or the Baker one we looked at because those players are just so money. Although Daniel Jones, what this card has going for it is he's got all those players around him, and it's a Prism. So anyways, that was the vid. Links for everything in the description. Sports Card Society, the Market Movers tool with the discount code. Please hit that subscribe button and that like button. I still think it's a really good time to buy football. I'm buying the dip, no doubt about it. That's what I got for you today. And leave a comment if you want me to start talking about some crypto too, because I got some pretty interesting things to share there. All right, stay classy. You're awesome. I'll see you tomorrow.